What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus, Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight, it's Chris, the stats man Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. All right, obviously we all know about Curry breaking the three-point record right now, but I think the most insane thing going on with the Warriors this season so far has been their defensive rating, which is 100.2. And for reference, second place the Suns are 103.9, which a full 3 points, ahead of the second place team is insane. And the Warriors are just on a historic defensive pace this year, and it's awesome to watch.
Yes, sir. I looked at that earlier today. Also getting minutes. He's back joining us after mowing some lawn. It's the lawn boss, Joey McCrosky. Get that, Joe.
Hello, everybody.
It's good to be more appropriate. It's good to have you back, Joey. We missed you. We love having you back.
Sure. I listened into part of it. I heard.
He heard the conversation. Well, it's good to have you back, and it's making a sound as delicious as Swiss Miss hot chocolate. The clear-cut winner of his hot chocolate search this year. It's Adam, the professional Bruns. How are the levels tonight, Adam?
Smooth as hot chocolate.
Ooh. Put a little marshmallow in there? We getting some marshmallow action?
Whipped cream tonight.
Whipped cream. Ooh, wow. Well, excuse me.
We'll make this one short so you don't have to spend too much time editing it. Get back
to whatever you're doing.
To whatever it is going on.
This has whipped cream on hand. All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Well, we have enough to talk about tonight. The Bulls have not played any games in the last week. Everybody's on COVID protocols. A lot of players out, Harden out. Crazy week, but Chris talked about it up front. Probably the biggest news of the NBA week is Steph Curry breaking the all-time regular season three-point record. Did you guys watch? Would you watch it live? Did you watch it later? What was the deal, Chris?
I was fortunate enough to catch it in the moment. It was fun. It was cool. It was kind of silly after he made the shot. They literally stopped the game. In the middle of the game, right? And just like, let's hug it out. Oh my God, you got the record. This is amazing. I don't know. I'm kind of split. How do you guys feel about that? Like, it's just
I'm poo-pooing this here.
I'm all for celebrating. It's just weird to like literally stop in the middle of a game. It just felt, I don't know.
Joey, what do you think about that, man? First off, did you watch it live?
I did catch it live. I watched the two games leading up to it too. So
me too.
I was a little bit on the anticlimactic side. I think Steve Kerr kind of talked about it too, was, all the hype about him getting 16 in the one game, and everybody was just so gung-ho about that. They really beefed it up. I don't know, whatever the word is. They got you all excited for it, right? And then when it came down to, okay, he needs 2, it was kind of like, okay, it's going to happen in the natural flow of things no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't mind them stopping the game. I'd like that they didn't just stop like Steve, right? They did an intentional foul. Steve Kerr took a timeout, and then the NBA extended the 2-minute timeout or the TV break into 3 minutes. So I was happy that the game just didn't stop. Like the NBA didn't just stop it. That they made Kerr take the foul and go through it. I think the backstory afterwards, though, to me is the more interesting part, where you've got Draymond saying that Andrew Wiggins never passes on that play, and that I think the stat was Andrew Wiggins has only had 10 assists to Steph all season. And this was number 11. So kind of unlikely where it came from, which was kind of cool. And to see Draymond just as excited as he was, the fact that it came from Andrew Wiggins was kind of cool to see.
I think Wiggins said it was one of his hallmark moments of his career. He'll remember this moment for the rest of his life. Which I think I'm poo-pooing it again. But again, relax, Wiggins. Like you did a pass. He did a pass out of a play when Curry mentioned after the game where he's like, we run that play all the time, and that's the first time Wiggins has passed to me out of that play at that moment. So it's
all kind of shit on him for it.
Yeah, but I think it was funny because, the Wiggins comment Wiggins made was that he saw he kind of had a little bit of space, and he knew that this was the opportunity to throw it to him, and
so he was selfish in that he wanted to be involved.
He wanted to be involved.
He wanted to be involved.
So this was definitely something I was paying attention to. I'd watched the previous games leading up to it. I was locked in that night that he was, but gonna go for 16. I thought that could have been awesome. Just I think I've said on the podcast, he's my favorite player to watch ever. So for me, this was really huge. I loved watching it. I thought that the moment after was great. I thought they did do it well. Also, too, if you're joining us in the stream, what do you guys think about what happened with Steph Curry? We got a comment in there too. We'll get to here in a little bit. But it was just a great moment. I thought the baskets. The moment with Reggie was awesome. The moment with Ray was awesome. He just had a lot of little moments, and I thought it was cool to see him do it. He seemed pretty jacked up about it. You could kind of tell the last couple of games that he had been really thinking about it because he hadn't been shooting really well, and he's kind of forcing a lot of shots. But to see him finally do it was awesome. To watch it live was awesome. I will definitely remember this for sure for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see him now because I think he was shooting so poorly. I think it was definitely weighing on him. You kind of feel like he's probably going to have like a double-digit 3-point game coming up here soon, where all the pressure is off and he's just going to start dropping them again.
I definitely think that's coming too. Actually, it gave me vibes of Kobe's last game. I don't know if you guys remember that, where Kobe just kind of hit 60, and it was like the celebration of Kobe.
Yeah,
it did feel like a little bit of a celebration of Steph. And so one thing I heard, I kind of want to talk to you guys about, was kind of the levels of celebration. I don't know if you guys were, obviously listening to kind of the broadcast and stuff that talked about when Reggie hit it, that nobody really knew that he had broken it till after. When Ray did it, that like the game didn't stop. It was a little less fanfare. And then obviously Steph doing it was the biggest fanfare has been made. Do you guys think? And I kind of feel that it was the reason why this was such a big deal was because everybody knows Steph is the greatest shooter of all time, the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, and this was more or less just like the final stamp of approval that he is officially the greatest shooter of all time. Do you guys think maybe that's why it was made more of a bigger deal this time, or just, a change in times?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I also think if you're a big basketball fan, Ray Allen, and his history of 3-pointers, Reggie Miller. If you're a casual fan or just like somebody who's not super into the league, you probably don't know those guys that well. But if you kind of go around, you could ask somebody who doesn't really know anything about the NBA if they know who Steph Curry is, and they're going to say, yeah, we know that guy shoots a lot of 3-pointers and, does that thing. So I think because he's made his name around that, and, with the championships and the MVPs and all that comes with him, it was a bigger deal than those guys doing it. I also think that's his game, right? Is 3-pointers. And I guess it was kind of Ray Allen's game too, but he didn't do it in as, I guess, flashy of a manner as Steph has done it.
That's for real.
Yeah, I think it's more of a changing of the times. I think the marketing of the NBA has improved well on top of that. And also with Curry's, solidified him as the best shooter of all time. But again, they just freaking stopped the game for him in a way. It was just okay, relax. But also, and I think the average ticket price, according to TickPick, for the next Warriors game was $569. So everybody knew it was going to happen, and they just
Pete Davidson.
So that kind of feeds into it. It's just the way that NBA's been able to market themselves has improved so much. So events like this, we're going to see more events like this when, I don't know what another big event actually would be. Maybe when LeBron passes Kareem for points.
Oh, man. That would be huge. Because I think that's still in question whether or not he can actually do it. But man, if he does that. Yeah, that would be big. Or probably, I bet LeBron's last game will get a little hype, or LeBron playing with his son if he ever gets
LeBron
that.
Playing with his Yeah. We're 3 years away from that.
3 years away.
But I got some stats about
three.
So I've been poo-pooing it, but this is I thought because we talked about it in our chat. We talked about this in our chat a little bit. How is somebody going to break this? And obviously the first name that comes up is always going to be Trae Young.
Yeah,
and there might be other names. Buddy Hield is actually pacing really well right now.
If Trae Young gets it, I'd be so mad.
I didn't look up Buddy Hield, but I looked up Trae Young just to show how insane what Stephen Curry's done. Stephen Curry did this in 6,900, let's just say 6,900 shot attempts at a 43% clip. Jesus. Ray Allen, it took him 7,429 at a 40% clip. Right now, Trae Young shoots 35% from three. If he's going to do this, he has to get 8,000. It will take him 8,500 attempts which
Whoa.
okay, Ray Allen in his career had basically 7,500. So Trae Young's not going to pass Ray Allen right at the current rate he's going at, let alone Stephen Curry. And I honestly, this is I think when it's all said and done, Curry, this is going to be one of those unbreakable records. Like, he just shoots so well. I don't know, man.
That's a good question. I didn't think about that. Do you guys, Chris, you just said you think it's kind of going to be unbreakable. Joey, when it's all said and done, when he finally retires, does he set the number so high that nobody's going to touch us, at least for a while?
Yeah, I absolutely think he is. I mean, he's got 5 years minimum left. So it's probably more likely like 8 years.
Yeah, true.
So
he's 33, but he looks.
He's going to play till he's 38, 39.
Yeah, he's going to play. I just feel
how
like
old's Brady? 43. Just keep going, man. Today,
he's going to be the Brady of the NBA. There's no, I think he's going to set the bar so high that it's not going to be broken in the next, 25, 30 years. And maybe somebody comes along down the line, right? I mean, there's no true unbreakable record, I guess, but this one's going to be tough. This one's going to be a tough one to get after.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think he's going to put it, over 4,000. And I think he's going to get real close to 5,000, depending on how long he plays. Yeah. And I think if he hits 5,000, I think we're talking about a record that's going to stand for a long time.
That's nuts.
So with that, Joey, we had some listener feedback. We had a little feedback.
Should we go with the question? Let's go. Should we do the baskets question?
Oh yeah, we can do baskets
before we get into listener feedback.
All right, Chris, read us
baskets. All right, who do you think out of all of the NBA players would be on Santa's good list this year, and why? Do we want to do good and bad list, or
naughty list?
You gotta call it the naughty list.
Naughty list.
You gotta call it the naughty list.
All right, who do you guys think out of the NBA players would be on Santa's good list this year? Who's getting presents this year?
It's obviously, DeMar DeRozan's the first name, right?
Oh, wow. I like that.
Wow.
He's been on the good list.
Yes.
Come on, like he's out.
Hey, you don't have to convince me. Yeah. You got to convince us because you're I know,
but honestly, I was low on DeMar. I'll admit it. But I'm not the only guy low on him. I still drafted him in fantasy. I'm still reaping benefits of him, so I wasn't that low on him. But here we go. Who's getting Cole? But yeah, DeMar's the good guy here. Who's getting Cole? Do we want to say Kyrie?
Kyrie is getting Cole. Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. There was a thing about Ben Simmons I saw in his rookie report when he was coming out of college. It's talks about how he's very self-centered, and he if things aren't going his way, he needs everyone to have the same mindset that he does and needs to go the way he's thinking at all times. And if it's not, then he's not going to be motivated to play. And you kind of see that play out right now. And it's like, you read that in a report, you're still not going to not take him at number one because it's like, that won't happen. But this is kind of what happens sometimes.
But here we are. Joey, you got a player?
I think I'll go naughty first, or getting Cole. I think Zion's going to get some Cole this year.
Ooh, for injuries?
Not keeping himself in shape. So everything that I'm reading, right, is he got cleared to come back for some basketball activities, and the foot is just not recovering, which is strange considering he's been out for so long. He had surgery on it for an athlete to have such a thing. So I think there's a lot of issue around his weight. So he's going to get some Cole for not keeping himself in.
There's one thing on Zion, to your point there, Joey. I agree. He definitely deserves some of the negative stuff he's been getting. But I think it was the owner of the Pelicans or someone in the organization was saying how it's interesting to see how much negative attention or how much lambasted insult you can throw at a 21-year-old. And it's so easy to forget that Zion's 21 years old. This is a kid. And people are treating him, but at the same time, we're not hearing from it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
I mean, he's a kid, but he's on a stage that's different. He's got people around him that are supposed to help him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's making millions of dollars. There's a different expectation when you're making that much money.
Yeah, and I think too, he didn't really tell them that he had surgery on it. There was just this whole, kind of in the dark thing about it. So, gets a little cool.
It'll all clear up when he's in New York. So that'll be fine.
Wow.
Zion
That's
for Randall.
Yeah, it's coming. It's
Zion
coming
for
soon.
Randall and Toppin. Make it happen.
I'm trying to think of who would be on the good list this year.
Well,
I'm gonna
Joey, who's
throw-
your good guy?
I'm gonna throw Kyle Lowry on the good list
Okay.
for making I think he's made a very positive impact to the Heat and kept them afloat where they've had some serious not serious injuries, but Jimmy's been down for a while, Bam's been down, Tyler Hero's been up and down, Duncan Robinson a little bit up and down as well. Kyle Lowry has seemed to have kind of kept them steady there, and I think that's exactly what that team needed to kind of keep everything together. So I'm going to throw a little good.
I'll throw a little love.
That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
I'll throw a little love to the Cavs, the entire team of the Cavs. I think they're on that. They're the good list, man. They got some guys.
I can't believe I didn't say the Cavs.
Yeah, I was trying to think of. I'm like, who's been like doing good? Because my first thought was like Jokic, kind of carrying his team, but then I'm like, he's also ramming into people and whiplashing people. So I don't know.
It could have been a little cold for Jokic for some of his extracurriculars.
But the Cavs for sure have been, I think they face one of the toughest schedules so far, and are still, what are they, 5th or 6th seed in the East right now? So
they're 4th.
Yeah. 4th, okay, yeah. Well, they are getting some presents this Christmas.
One stat about the Cavs, they're excuse me, they are currently this is a week ago, so I need to update it, but they are 7th in the NBA net rating despite having the hardest schedule in the NBA, and have lost the 7th most games due to injury. So not only do they have a tough schedule, they've had a lot of injuries, and obviously Colin Sexton is gone for the season. Kind of might be better without him. But yeah, man, Cavs, let's go.
I think they're actually higher on that list right now. I think they're top 5 net rating, which is wild.
This was 6 days ago. So
I just checked it today,
then.
And I remember seeing that and like going, "Oh, those guys are for real." So all right, we had another listener feedback from our
who's your Cole? Who's your Cole guy?
Oh, Cole. Let's go with Jokic.
I like it.
Let's go with Jokic. It is beefing.
He's beefing all over the place. Yeah.
Step it up. Hey, come on, Jokic.
Ooh. Yeah.
All right.
But how is his mindset differently than what Isaiah Stewart did? Like, why are we thinking about that differently?
I don't think of it differently. Isaiah Stewart probably getting some cold too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
so there's
what he was. Yeah.
But like Jokic is on a higher pedestal really because he's MVP.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think that I was just trying to squeeze him into the good list, and that incident I was like, I don't think I can put him on there. So Joey, super fan Richie had another great question for us. So
did, and it was perfect timing with Steph breaking the record. So the question is, would you rather be able to shoot like Steph or dunk like Vince Carter?
Ooh. So hold on, before we start, Steph, greatest shooter of all time. Vince, greatest dunker of all time.
You could swap in. You could swap in a certain number 8 from the Bulls if you really wanted.
Wow, that's high praise. Well, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's not crazy. I was thinking like Dominique or Jordan or somebody, but all right, Chris, I'll start with you. What do you think, man?
It's Curry.
It's Curry.
Give me Curry. I was just talking about it before. 43% for a career earning. Like Ray Allen just got to 40. Curry's at 43%. It's so. I need to find a better way to articulate how insane it is what this man is doing and how efficient he is from a 3-point range. Like obviously we know he broke the record in an insane amount of time. Insane amount of games before Ray Allen did it. The guy's incredible. There's nothing like him. There's nothing like him. Like he's. I don't know, man. Just give me Stephen Curry's 3-point. Just give me his 3-point percentage. Vince Carter's dunking is great, but there's a lot of great dunkers, and like at a certain time, you're just dunking. You're just
dunking. But I will quickly. I saw a tweet. Steph Curry has now the record for the most regular season 3-pointers, the single season record for 3-pointers, the playoff record for 3-pointers, single playoff record, the finals record, a finals game record, and the calendar month record. All 3-point. Like
you lost me. It just sounds like a lot of records.
He has every record, any possible 3-point record he has. He's got it. So, like to Chris's point, what he has done and what he's doing is so crazy. Joey, but to the question, are you dunking like Vince or are you shooting those threes?
All right, I'm dunking like Vince.
All right.
And I'm thinking of this more from a fun aspect than a serious aspect like Chris. So, and I'm not saying that I could do any of this, right? Let's just straight up.
Shooting threes is a lot of fun, but anyway,
we saw what happened in 4th of July basketball, right? I have no jump shots. So it's just,
You made a couple of half court shots though.
that's true. I
Keep
did
it
make a few
alive.
half courts.
He's clutch. He's clutch.
But hypothetically, if I practiced enough and did enough, I could learn to shoot like Steph, right?
This is very
I
logical.
could train my muscles to get to a point, right? Hypothetically, it's not going to happen, but you could train your muscle memory into shooting threes like Steph. In no way, shape, or form can I ever train my body to dunk like Vince Carter. It's just not going to happen, right?
You do some leg lifts,
I could do
squats.
all the leg lifts and everything I am
It's not
in the
matter,
world, right? It's not going to happen.
Run on sand.
I'm not getting any taller. I'm not, getting another, 2 feet to my vertical. So,
Joe,
if you
you're
could
6
give me
foot
the superpower,
3. You can do
I'm
this.
6 foot. Thank you. That's very kind of you. But I'm
6'3".
6 foot.
You're 6 foot?
Yes, I wish I was 6'3". If I was 6'3", I probably would
Wow.
be able to dunk, but that's not happening. Yeah, give me the dunking abilities. I want to be able to do windmills. I want to be able to do between the legs. Whatever.
That is a very logical response, and I expect nothing less from you. Now, as you guys well know, I already have Steph Curry's shooting ability comparable.
Jumper's wet.
The jumper is wet, so I will be taking Vince's dunking ability. I think I'm with Chris. To be realistic.
Just go with the dunking. With
so-
your old nickname, 3-ball Dominguez, we had to change it for
3-ball
obvious
Dominguez.
reasons.
We didn't have to
graphic
change
it.
sexual nature of it.
We didn't
No,
need to.
I mean, if I could shoot like Steph, yeah, that would be awesome. I would do that in a heartbeat. So that's mine. I think that's it for listener feedback this week. But thank you guys for emailing in, commenting in the stream. We always appreciate that. So feel free to send in a DM on Instagram or Twitter or an email. So
We've been pretty active on the gram so far this
Yeah.
week. You drop
busy.
in, take a peek in on the gram.
And I've been trying to get better on Twitter. I'm firing off some tweets every once in a while. So
I saw Titus
through your account
added
and
at Zach Levine.
Promoting your account.
promoting my account. Hey, I figured we got to get the podcast name out there.
Yeah,
I changed
I like
my bio. I put in 1/3 of the Box Out Boys.
I like it.
So all right, with that, let's go into what if. I forget. Did we have an intro for this?
I did do a very dramatic.
I wrote an intro. I can't find it.
Yeah. Okay, we can't find the intro, but this is our what if segment. What if something happened in the league? We're going to give you guys some reasons that this could happen, the top reasons it could happen. We're going to debate these different things. Joey, let's start with you. You had a couple of good ones this week.
All right.
Give us your first what if.
Since we've got no Bulls talk, we'll give you the first Bulls what if here just to keep us back to our roots. So the what if is, what if Zach Levine becomes a free agent this summer? The 4 reasons that I came up with, we can talk through is, number 1, the Bulls missed the playoffs completely, play-in included, so they're not even in the play-in tournament. The Bulls make the playoffs and then get swept in round 1. C, the Bulls don't make an in-season trade to win now. Or D, Zach is unhappy with his role alongside DeMar DeRozan. Which of those ones you think is most, if this happens, would be most likely the cause?
Well, I think just right off the top, I think D is probably is for sure the least likely, and I think the one that we won't have to worry about at all. I think him and DeMar are fitting together perfectly, and I think they like playing with each other. So that I feel very confident will not be an issue going into the season. Chris, do you have any? What do you think of those 4 reasons could be a big issue?
Maybe the Bulls. Yeah, the Bulls missing the playoffs, including the play. That means something catastrophic happened.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's gotta be it, right? Yeah.
If the Bulls miss the playoffs entirely, that would be very concerning for what would happen with Zach Levine.
To build off this question, if Zach Levine goes to free agency, where's he going?
I was looking at this. I don't know where he's going. He's not going anywhere. This is the most comforting thing. I looked up like cap room.
Most comforting thing.
Yeah, dude. As soon as he mentioned this, I'm like, okay, I gotta research this a little bit. I forget. I think the Spurs have the most cap room next season. And there's one other team that's also not good. But it was 2 good teams that aren't very good. They had the most cap room. Any team that like possibly could make some moves, it wasn't going to be an issue. I think he'll be back in the Bulls no matter what. But
There's always been talks about him going to the Lakers, right?
Yeah, they have no cap room. So
he went. Did he go to UCLA?
He did. Yes.
Yeah.
But I also, I would be curious though. Other reason you brought up Joey was, if the Bulls get swept in the first round, because I think, or what do you guys think would happen if that happened? Because they wouldn't be against one of the big four teams or the other big three teams. It would be against like a Knicks, Atlanta, Boston,
like a Cavs.
Team. A Cavs. Yeah. Oh, that's actually a bad thing.
That'd be tough, man. Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, now that you say that, if they match up with the Cavs in the first round, that would not be a good situation. A 4-5 matchup. Uh-oh.
They would win in 5, I think. But yeah,
the Cavs.
If they got yeah. But if the Bulls lost that, even if they just lose that series, like I don't know, man. The Bulls are top 4. They should win the first round, even if it's against the Heat. Like that would be a fighting series, but I think they could best the Heat out.
But let's say they lose to a team that they shouldn't lose to.
In a sweep, right?
In a sweep, yeah. Like it's not even close.
Right. It doesn't come down to a game 5 or whatever.
There's something like that change his mind about the long-term success. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think that would be more of a like, hey, we got to come back next year and be ready to go.
The only way I could see that changing his mind is if they say we're going to run back the exact same thing. I could see him being like, we need to move something, we need to try something. If the organization is just like, yeah, we're good, just had a bad series, let's try it again. But I mean, they've proven this year to him. I think in the long run, no matter what really happens, minus them missing the playoffs, he's probably going to stay. I think they put enough together this year to show him like, hey, we're kind of serious about being good and you sticking around.
Yeah, I kind of forgot like how serious of a thing it was. Like, oh, Levine might leave, but now after the moves that were made, they were aggressive and it's paying off. Now it's like, no, Levine's not leaving.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, you think about like last year and the year before, like, I mean, they were who was on their team. It's such a different,
especially before Kobe White got drafted. Like, it's wild.
Here we go.
Yeah, man.
It's wild. Anyway, should we go to? You got another question?
Yeah, let's go to Joey's because mine kind of tie in together a little bit. So we'll go Joey's.
Yeah, second one is what if Steph Curry doesn't win the MVP this season? So the 4 reasons that I've got. You can add in any you'd like, Chris, but I'll throw mine out. So Nuggets are a 3+ seed, so 1, 2, or 3 seed, which means Jokic probably is the winner there. Kyrie comes back to the Nets, and Durant averages less than 25 points a game, so his production drops off with the introduction of Kyrie to the mix. The Bucks are the number 1 seed in the East, which means Giannis has taken down Brooklyn and whoever else, Philadelphia Bulls, Miami, whatever, or the Suns win the West by 7+ games. So they go out and clearly just blow this up, and they blitz the Warriors here, and it's either a Chris Paul, Devin Booker type thing.
So I think you're on to a couple things. I think right now he is the front runner to win the MVP. But if the Bucks are the number 1 seed and like a clear number 1 seed in the East, or if Phoenix, like you said, like the number you put on like a 7+ games, if they end up being well clear of the Warriors, I think you're going to have to look at those teams as far as pulling an MVP off. I would for sure be worried about that. Chris, what are you thinking about the MVP?
Okay. My thing is with Stephen Curry and the MVP is he shouldn't be the MVP. He's the favorite. I get it. But the most valuable player on the Warriors is Draymond Green. Have we seen the defensive ratings? Have we seen how they do their offense? There's box and ones, triangles and twos. The way this team is able to manage their offense is all orchestrated with Draymond Green leading the team. This team is not 23-5 right now without Draymond Green leading the defense and coming through it. He's defensive player of the year by far, Draymond Green, but he should be MVP as well.
So hang on, I just question on that topic. So year Derrick Rose wins, is Joakim Noah the MVP and not Derrick Rose?
I would have to go back to look. I don't know. The thing with the Bulls and with Joakim Noah is that they had Luol Deng. I don't want to say Boozer, but he's there doing some defense.
Was getting minutes.
But they at least had players that felt like that could do well defensively. So with Draymond Green, Gary Payton II is all of a sudden looking like
his dad,
first team all defensive. Yeah, look, he's looking like his dad. The guy's 29. He's been a journeyman for 8 years.
So what if Draymond's defensive player of the year? What if they
He is
lock him in
defensive
for-
player of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So let's say he's locked in for that.
What I'm
I
saying
mean,
is, why can't he
you
be
could-
MVP as well?
because the
but they
MVP's on his
can't.
team.
I just
Because he's more valuable. I get it. You know, it's flashy because Steph
you're
Curry
going
broke
by the
3-point
most literal
records.
term, right? Who's the most
Yeah.
valuable to their team? And if we went by that, it's not Draymond either.
If Draymond
'Cause
gets hurt,
you could take Draymond off the Warriors, and they'd still be
they'd
one
be
or
a
two in
500
the-
team.
I don't think it'd be 500, but
I
I
don't think
also
it'd be
don't. I don't
500.
they
Who's
wouldn't be a
playing
1 or 2
defense?
team.
Like, there's nobody that plays defense like Draymond Green.
I mean,
guard
like
1
honestly,
through 5
you're
the way
making
he
a really
can.
good argument. Like, I don't. I guess because his offensive production just isn't there. You know, I mean, he's not a a minus.
He
on
looks
offense,
ugly
but he's-
offensively.
Yeah, but he's just not
absolutely.
a plus. I think that's maybe why you don't see him doing like what Giannis did, winning MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. But it's not a crazy argument. It's not a crazy argument. It's just I still think Steph's gonna run away with it.
I just wanted to throw it out there. I truly believe
bad.
Draymond is more valuable than, and I've been on the soapbox with you guys.
You're
for
wrong. You're
5
wrong there,
years, at
but
least,
he is
with
very
Draymond.
valuable to that team.
But
He's
Yeah,
not more valuable than Steph.
so what if Steph Curry doesn't win
That's
MVP?
actually-
It's because people actually realize Draymond Green's the best player or the most
That's
valuable player
actually
on the
really
Warriors.
good. We should think about that as a separate segment. But who is an MVP based on if you took that person off of a team?
They don't even have Clay.
Who
If
gives
they
the
didn't have
most to their
Draymond-
team?
Yeah.
That'd be a fun,
And what I'm saying is, like,
non-traditional MVP.
The
I like it.
Warriors. I mentioned in the
Who is the
beginning
real
their
MVP?
defensive rating
Who's
is
the real
100,
MVP?
right?
All right.
And,
Next
the
week
offensive-
Next week, Chris, who's the real MVP?
we'll do
in
who's the
league?
real MVP, and we'll bring our deep cut. They should be the real MVP based on the
Yes.
Draymond Green argument.
All right,
Yes.
I'll expand on what I was about to say.
You'll expand
I'll
on
just
yeah,
save
I
it
like
for
it.
next week.
Expand.
That's a good
I
one.
like it. That's actually really good. All right, so we can get to my what ifs. Kind of based along what if Steph wins the MVP. What if the Warriors win the title? I know they're kind of title favorites. How does this apply? This will apply to my second question too. Then we'll talk maybe about legacies. My reasons for this: obviously the reason is Steph stays at an MVP level the rest of the season, and that's the reason why they win the title. B is Clay returns is 80 to 90% of what he was, so he's basically very little drop off to the player he was, and that's the catalyst. C, Draymond Green plays at a defensive player of the year levels like he
Nice.
has been playing. I think very important to them winning the title. And then D, their young core is legitimately good. So Kuminga, Wiseman, those kind of guys. I know like Gary Payton Jr. is not a young guy, but that bench
new face
role
of the
players.
team.
Yeah, new faces. Those guys are legitimately good, and they're not just kind of no-name players that we kind of think they are right now, that they are actual legit guys. Any of those reasons stand out in particular to you guys? Do you guys think the Warriors?
Yes,
are
Draymond Green, defensive player.
That is the most important reason.
You teed that one up for him.
Yeah, well, that was a setup.
You
Okay,
teed that one up.
I'm glad. Hey, at least I put Draymond in there. He would have been so mad if I would have.
That would have been a troll if you
Changed
do
it on the
yeah.
fly.
I should have changed on the fly. I should have left Draymond off. Joey, what do you think, man?
Well, I think since Chris took C, give me a little bit of B and give me a little bit of D. So Clay comes back and he's 80% of what he can be. And then the new faces on the team are actually legitimate. If you mix all that together, Draymond Defensive Player of the Year, legitimate role players, and Clay being 80%, I think that's a lethal mix.
I like that. All right, we'll go to my second what if. And again, we'll kind of get into a larger debate here after I read this, but what if the Brooklyn Nets lose in the second round again? My A reason is Kyrie never comes back all season. B is Harden just isn't Harden all season, and we don't ever see him being that really number 2 guy. C is Giannis and the Bucks are healthy and look unbeatable. And D, Miami or Chicago pull off an upset. So what do you guys think is most likely to happen? What do you guys think would do you think it's possible they lose in the second round again?
So right now, if they looking at the standings right now, if everything went chalk, they'd play Cleveland in round 2 or Miami. They're gonna beat those. I would think but what if they lost to Cleveland? right? But like, so like to your thing with like,
I got some
dude,
guys.
Cleveland's got some.
They
They got some
got
bigs.
size,
man.
too.
Laurie's
Guys.
playing the 3. He's 7 feet tall playing the 3. Nobody else in the league has that.
Very good position for him.
But like, so what are you saying? Like with what if?
So I want to tie
Madison's
this into a more of a legacy talk about Steph and KD. What if Steph? Because the one thing I feel like with the 3-point record and kind of this MVP narrative and the potential of the Warriors winning the title again, this kind of feels like a coronation season for Steph. Like this is you are officially the best or the face of the league. You're taking the mantle from LeBron basically for as ever long as you're going to play. But what if the Warriors go and win the title without KD 2 years after he leaves, and KD for the second time after joining a super team, quote unquote, doesn't make it even to the conference finals? Are their legacies looked at differently? Are those Warriors teams with KD looked at a lot differently of like, yeah, KD was great, but he needed those guys to get him there. And yes, he's maybe the best individual player in the league, but he's not, it's not turning into championships. Like, what does that say if something like that were to happen this season?
I think it's going to be more of a. So back to your what if to start. I think it's more of a self-implosion. I don't think it's because anybody necessarily becomes better than them. I think it's because Harden is either not himself or Kyrie never comes back.
Yeah.
To that point as well, I also think that if they don't win here, I don't think a ton of people are going to slander KD for it. I think they're going to go after Kyrie as an easy scapegoat, and they're going to go after Harden because they've already started to do it, right? If you read and
if
listen,
KD's
right?
balling out,
right. And KD's been balling out, and he's done his thing, and he's done it well, and I don't think anybody now questions his abilities. So I think his other teammates would cannibalize the criticism for him. I don't think anybody would go after KD if they lose again.
That's
provided that he balls
everybody
out.
except KD,
right?
Yeah,
Provided
that's like the
that
classic
he
LeBron
doesn't score like
trope.
15 points a game, right? Yeah, they would go after everybody else but him.
like, what else can he do? Yeah.
That's
interesting. I didn't really think of that. I thought if that his rep, I guess maybe it's been a little repaired lately, but I thought maybe his rep would kind of get in the way of that if Steph were to win. This is the other thing. I think it's if those guys in Golden State win it again, then they're maybe looked at as not. What do you guys think of it from the Golden State side? Would they be looked at a little bit differently if they're like, okay, that first one wasn't really a fluke. Yeah, you won the other two with KD. I think that they're kind of looked at as like, well, of course they were going to win those ones. They had Steph, KD, Clay, and Durant.
So if your scenario plays out, Curry passes Durant on that all-time list, right? Like, he has to. I feel like the thing right now is like, oh, KD got the Finals MVPs. Curry has 0. Iggy got it. Holding LeBron to 38, 9 or whatever it was. But
MVP.
He's a great.
But like with Curry, with the kind of season he's having, he's going to be MVP. Even though maybe I don't know. And if Durant loses in the second round, let's see. And like to your options, Titus, Milwaukee. If they happen to match with Milwaukee in the second round, which I don't think they will, but if they do, they're losing, dude. There's no chance.
Let's say Milwaukee ends up in the 4 slot. And, whatever, COVID or injuries or something throughout the season, they're not really too concerned about it. Second round, it's Milwaukee, Brooklyn again, and they're just ready to go. They're healthy, they're good to go, and they kick their ass again. Well, they didn't kick their ass the first time, but like they show, then I go, all right, well, now what are you going to do if you're Brooklyn? Does the team get broken up? They start, looking at different things. What happens with that team?
Trade for Buddy Hield. It seems to be the name to go around. Yeah, man.
I don't know. It'd be weird. It would just be weird.
Change.
Because teams like the super teams like that, they usually win pretty quickly. I know like Miami didn't win initially that first season, but they were in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that team got so much hate. Yeah, they were still in the finals.
Yeah, they were still in the finals.
And, like the Nets lost in the second round last year. Like to your point, like it's.
And I kind of feel like everybody's kind of given them this pass, and like I looked at them up too. They had one of the weakest schedules so far. So yeah, they're number 1 seed in the East, but I think they have the 27th strength of schedule. So like they're not really playing anybody good, and all their losses come against good teams.
I'm still high on the Nets, but like Yeah, watching them playing, like you guys been talking about how like what their third best player is LaMarcus Aldridge, who retired last year, right? And then Patty Mills, who's not a. So this team doesn't have much depth. They're looking to maybe trade Joe Harris to get another player, even though he's their fifth best player right now. The Nets could be no. I'm not
They're
doing it. The Nets
vulnerable.
are fine. The Nets are gonna be fine. They're vulnerable, but I think they're gonna be fine. So I like the what if idea. I don't think it's gonna play out, even though I did just say Milwaukee would probably beat them in the second round.
If they matched up, I think Milwaukee's gonna be a tough one for them.
Let's talk in 2 months after the trade deadline, after all those mid-level signings are through, and we'll see what the teams look like then.
But I tell you right now that the NBA wants Brooklyn versus Golden State. They want KD versus Steph.
Yeah, I think we all want that.
Juicy would that be, man?
I mean, give me the Bulls, but actually, no, I don't want the Bulls versus the Warriors because that's just going to be really heartbreaking. So,
yeah, that would be tough.
It's going to be like the Bears against the Colts in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're like,
and then Hester gets the return, so we're like, oh, wait, like, you could maybe win. And it's like, oh, no, Peyton Manning.
Bulls
would
jump out to like a 17-point lead in the first quarter and then
Steph would do
never lead again.
Yeah.
Be over.
We have
Rex
Grossman at quarterback.
Yeah, Rex Grossman. All right, I think that's good for what if.
Sexy
Rexy. We got a little bit of time here. You want to do a little trade talk that came across, Joey? I don't know if you have that pulled up or if you want to take a minute. Give me a stall.
I do.
So there is one trade that we've been trying to trade Kobe White and Patrick Williams here for the last week. At least me and Joey have. Chris is trying to keep everybody on the team. But there was one trade that did interest Chris, and I initially said it sounded great, and then I looked it up, and I kind of didn't like it after that. But Joey, you have the trade?
I do. So this came from the Facebook group Die Hard Chicago Bulls fans.
So you know it's legit.
You know it's legitimate. Hey, these guys are active. They're all over this.
I love that. I love that group.
So according to Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher, the Detroit Pistons are focused on trading Jeremy Grant to rebuild their roster. The trade that they proposed and apparently works in the trade machine is Detroit gets Kobe White, Patrick Williams, Troy Brown Jr., and Marko Simonovic. And the Bulls get Jeremy Grant and Isaiah Stewart and the number 16 pick, Jeremy Grant and Isaiah Stewart, who was the number 16 pick in 2020. That is the trade. So it's a 4 for 2.
Okay,
Chris?
so I'll say I kind of liked it when I first saw it. I like the idea of adding a big like Isaiah Stewart. I think that's what interested me the most. And Jeremy Grant's solid. I think he's kind of like a Tobias Harris type, where it's like there's a quote I saw that's like, if you need him to get you 30, he'll get you 20. If you need him to get you 20, if you need him to get 20, he'll get you 20. So it's just that's his thing. It's just consistent.
He's just 20.
He's just the 20 guy. That's what Tobias. That's what Jimmy Grant guy can be like. So
if you need him to get,
I don't know if it pushes him over an edge enough, but I'd be interested. I don't know if we have to give up that much to get him. Like, do we have to give up Marco as well? Maybe Patrick could be a pick, maybe instead of Patrick. I don't know.
Yeah,
but Tyus, I know you looked into this a little bit more. I've been watching Money Heist too much, so I didn't.
Money Heist. He's on Money Heist. So I was initially very excited about. I'm like, yes, let's get Jeremy Grant here, and Isaiah Stewart sounded good. Last we heard from him, he was fighting LeBron or chasing LeBron all over the court. So I was like, hey, he's not scared. He's not backing down.
This guy's great. Let's go.
This guy's great. Let's go. Let's get. We need just another dog in there. But then I looked up. It's like stats. So Jeremy Grant was probably the main piece in that trade, and he is just a high usage guy, man. Very high usage. Very low PER. I think his PER is only like 17 or something. It's not, for his usage rate. He was like a 26% usage rate or something. It was very high, very low PER. A great scorer, but there really wasn't much else. Very low rebounds per game. I think it was like 4 rebounds a game and 2 or 3 assists.
Yeah, he's 4.8 rebounds a game this season, 2.6 assists.
Not a particularly good shooter.
Just over a steal, shooting 40% field goal, 46.9%, 85 from the free throw line.
Yeah. So he's good stats, bad team guy.
33%. Yeah, I was gonna say, with the usage stat, right? He is on the Pistons. So yeah, he's a perfect player for a bad team.
Yeah. So it looked a little less promising than Sabonis, who is a similar points per game, actually a little lower points per game, but significantly more rebounds and 10, 12 rebounds a game. And then his PER was in the low 20s, I believe. And his usage rate was below 20. So it was a nice. I think he would be a nice mix if we were going that route. But I think Sabonis is probably a little bit out of reach. Jeremy Grant might be a little more reasonable. So again, yeah, it's not necessarily that I hate it. It's just of all the sort of rumored trades that are never going to happen for the Bulls, but have been.
Can we talk about the Sabonis
We'll say
thing?
Jeremy.
Yeah,
Jeremy Grant is out. Yeah, just one last. Jeremy Grant is out for 6 weeks with a thumb injury.
Oh, okay.
His torn ligaments. So, I mean, if you better not do this at least for 6 weeks.
Yeah, let's wait till the trade deadline on this.
And then you have no idea what's happening after that. So, just the last piece on it.
Yep. Chris, do you have any final thoughts on?
But I want to talk about Sabonis real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about Sabonis.
Bonus. What? He looks great on paper. There's a lot to like about him, but he's so when DeMar DeRozan came to the Bulls when they signed him, you kind of look at it as a duplicate to Levine. It hasn't been. He's been more of a compliment. When I look at Sabonis, he's literally just Vucevic. So it's like we already have Vucevic. We already have the you can have him guy that's underperforming right now, who we expect to play better. But now we're gonna get Sabonis too. Like what is this adding to the team?
So this is for me would be let's just get the best guy available and see what happens thing. Like I don't necessarily think he's a great fit for the Bulls. I just know he's a very talented player. And I go, all right, if our closing lineup is Vooch, Sabonis, Levine, DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't know what that gets you. I don't know if that wins you anything.
Yeah,
but
that's not a dumb reason, to be honest.
No, and that's kind of more my things. Like I know he rebounds a lot. The other thing that I really liked when I kind of dug into his stats a little bit is he's just a high percentage shooter. So he doesn't shoot a lot of threes or anything. Doesn't stretch the floor, but his percentage-wise, shooting percentage was really nice. And I'm like, he's going to get less shots on the Bulls, and if he makes them at a decent clip, he's maybe the better version of Vucevic. And then we go if Vuce doesn't have it, Sabonis has it. And if Sabonis doesn't have it, Vooch has it. So maybe kind of that safety blanket like we have with DeMar and Zach, where it's kind of like, all right, we don't know which one's going to be carrying us tonight, but we know somebody's going to show up. So
he's got to be a better defender than Vooch, right?
I mean, I would imagine.
I don't think so.
I don't
No?
know. I mean, his blocks aren't very high. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have a ton of blocks. So he's not a rim protector for sure.
But I've got the comparison up. What stats do we want to look at?
He's 6'11". Yeah,
per game, per 36. What do we want
effective
to do?
field goal? Effective field goal.
Effective field goal, and just like kind of field goal percentage in general.
All right. So effective field goal for Sabonis is 55.2. Vooch is 51.7.
Pretty good.
Total rebounds. Sabonis is getting 8.9 per game. Vooch is getting 10.4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're actually like identical players. Chris is right.
Yeah, Chris is. I mean, he's not wrong.
Vooch is averaging 3 more points a game, 16.8 versus 14.
But I just want to say, like, to Tice's point, where like Daryl Morey was like that in Houston. It's like, let's just get the guy.
Yeah,
he's a talent. Put him on the team. Let's see how it plays out. And that's kind of like if the Bulls want to do it as a bonus, like you can kind of see because Sabonis really does seem like the best guy out there, and that's why I wanted to bring that.
Yeah.
Trade back up because I look at the other guys out there. It's like Sabonis is kind of it. I don't know.
He's rumored to Golden State, so it's like if they want him, then I want him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Like I said, we don't know what'll happen here in the next few weeks and up until the trade deadline. So
yeah, I'm curious. I mean, the Bulls. There hasn't been really any talk anywhere about the Bulls. Like I think the only people that are talking about the Bulls making a trade are Bulls fans.
Yeah,
because everybody thinks that us included, that we're fantastic and that we're just that one little tweak away from making it happen. So everybody, but
I want it.
But this is also the same thing that happened at the trade deadline last year. I remember us all messaging about it, and then all of a sudden they announced that they had Vooch, and nobody saw that one coming. So yeah, AK might have something up his sleeve. We'll see.
Let's see. Well, all right, you guys ready to call it? Feel good about this one?
Let's wrap it.
Let's wrap it up. Well, that is it for us tonight. Join us next week to talk more NBA basketball. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide into those DMs. Join us live Wednesdays at 8:30. Send us an email to be included in the show, to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. And as always, like, subscribe, and review wherever you listen to this at now. We'd very much appreciate that. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, box out.